Can't stop. Won't stop. Till killer cops are in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No.
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, I said, what's wrong with it?
Improper way with it.
There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the law?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it.
Profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Give me a favor, take out your keys.
Yeah, you can record me.
For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I'm about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 to 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check, mic check. This is West Wednesday, number 448. We are calling for justice for all victims of police violence. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check. Thank you guys for tuning in. And just like my brother Ben said, this is West Wednesday. We're at 448 weeks, and that's a very long time to be fighting for anything, especially when you have your loved one that was brutally executed in broad daylight. And the saddest part is you watch that video where the victim that literally pretty much survived 24 hours before my brother Tyrone West was murdered. That is really devastating. If you look at Darrell Harris in that video, literally, he's saying the same thing that unfortunately Abdul Salam, he was actually pulled over, and Killer Ruiz was the first one to pop up at his van while he had his baby in the back seat of his vehicle, and he used that same excuse about a seatbelt excuse. A road stop literally almost cost Abdul Salam his life. And then 24 hours, literally, before my brother Tyrone West was brutally executed, there was Darrell Harris, who you just saw that video, and he's asking him, what are you doing? Give me a ticket, and he's doing all this get out the car type of stuff. And hey, let's be clear, had that video not been uploaded to the internet, who knows if even Darrell Harris would have survived those brutal killers. And to think, less than 24 hours later, my brother Tyrone West was brutally executed, beat to death by 17 maniacs, 17 stinking animals that to this day is still working, and they're working with immunity. They're not only just working with that, but they also got pay raises, promotions, just everything. And meanwhile, we are still searching for accountability for the brutal murder of my brother. But no further ado, I'm going to bring on my two special queens. And first, I'm going to bring on, who I would say, the mother of a king hero, a king angel that was actually on earth, Fred Cox, that was actually brutally murdered. And like literally, when you hear about these murders, like we can't make this stuff up. Literally, like no traffic stop should not have brutally got my brother murdered. And literally, no one that's going to their friend's funeral, y'all, and go and try to save somebody like, and you got a killer cop that pulls up. And it's crazy because most of them pull up in unmarked cars or special units to wipe out men. And it's not just the men, they're wiping women out and everything. And tonight I had my sister Tanika, she's going to come on first, and followed up, it's going to be my sister Mara. And it's sad because at the end of the day, Jamal Taylor, it's his birthday. He should be with his children, his family, celebrating. But unfortunately, we have to say happy heavenly birthday. That is sick and it's disgusting. And as we get close to the months, my brother's birthday will be upset. Like, this is disgusting. And so will, Fred Cox. It's said that this father should be here. These fathers should be here. And it's unfortunate this system is wiping us out. So no further ado, I'm going to bring on my queen, Tanika. Mic check.
Mic check. Hello, I'm glad to be here. My name is Tanika Shannon. I'm from High Point, North Carolina. My son is Fred Cox, also from High Point, North Carolina. And as my sister was saying, he was attending a funeral for one of his friends. And once the funeral was over, my son was actually in his car. The witness said that his car was crunk. He was ready to go. Some gunfires rang out on one side of the church. On the opposite side of the church, where my son's car was parked, he jumped out of his car and pushed a 12-year-old little boy and his mom inside the church while he took the bullets from behind. So it was literally two separate shootings, and my son was murdered in the church. To this day, still no answers. DA Avery Crump, very nonchalant African-American female. Whenever we went to meet with her, I asked her, I was like, well, you have said that my son is not in a gang, and whether he was or wasn't, he wasn't murdered by a gang. He was murdered by an off-duty detective. You said that my son did not have a gun. Why was my son murdered? Why was my son shot 4 times while running? And she shrugged her shoulders as if I'm supposed to just give up this fight. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up until I'm dead. And once I'm dead and gone, I pray to God my son, kids will continue to fight, because it's not fair. I've never heard of anybody going to a funeral and get killed at a funeral. You can't make it make sense. And if you hear gunfires, why are you not running as an officer? Why are you not running to the gunfire, but you're running away from the gunfire into the church? They wasn't shooting in the church. They was shooting on the opposite side of the building. I have tried so hard to make it make sense, and I cannot. No one can make it make sense. No one. So he went from saying, no, first of all, they didn't tell me for 10 whole days that this officer murdered my baby. I was led to believe that this gang was not doing just a drive-by shooting in the air, but they were also on foot, and they chased my baby in the church for 10 days. That's what I was led to believe. I lived in total fear. We went out and bought cameras to go all around the house because we thinking this some big gang thing that's going on, not knowing what, if my son hadn't did something to some gang. We did not know. So for 10 days, that was the story. I had to bury my son in private because we didn't want anyone to come back and retaliate against us. When in all reality, my son was murdered by a detective out of his jurisdiction. So he was wiped from having a proper funeral to having a private funeral. It was many of my family members that could not come see him for his final day. It's sad. They stated they had from 10 to 15 cameras at this church, and the only one that wasn't working is the one where my son was murdered. Can't make it up. I can't make it up. On this Friday, we have some people come flying in that's going to rally with us. We have been silent since November 8th, 2020. We're no longer asking. We're demanding. I wholeheartedly know that if my son was on the other side of that gun, if he was the shooter and he shot killer, murderer Michael Shane Hill, my son would be in prison for life with no parole. What makes him special? Nothing. Because he bleeds the same blood that we bleed, red. So he needs to be held accountable for the murder of Frederick Rodriguez Smith Cox. That was just not only my son, that was my only child. He took everything from me. Everything. I try to find my reason, and my reason is to fight like hell for accountability for my baby because he deserves it. He left me with nothing. He left me alone. For 18 years, it was me and my baby. And in an instant blink, he took my everything. And I won't stop. I can't. They're going to try to silence me eventually. But that's not an answer. When he's held accountable, then I will let up. Until then, I'm going to fight like hell. I'm not giving up, and I'm not letting up. Because he didn't let up. He could have shot my baby in the leg if it was that serious. He didn't have to continue to shoot him 4 times. And not only did he shoot him, one of the bullets grazed the 12-year-old in the hand. Oh, reckless. God. Reckless. He was just recklessly shooting. And they have covered him. I just recently found out his name. They have done everything in their power to protect this murderer. but no one is protecting me but me. And it's sad. My baby did not deserve to, none of our family members deserve to die like this. And then these people try to cover them up. It's not right. And on this Friday, we standing in solidarity and we're demanding for accountability. This Friday, Greensboro, North Carolina, at 2 p.m., 200 North Elm Street, Greensboro, North Carolina. We coming raw, and we coming ready.
And since I'm definitely, you know, like, cause I know you're gonna, gonna be many more other events, but I'm definitely gonna make it down there on one of your events. You got my word on that. You know, I'm glad my sister Angela was able to come join you a couple times, but I'm definitely gonna be there, you know, in the flesh, you know, and support. And just know that you're not alone in this. Just know that we love you. Just know that Baltimore definitely has your back. Just know that no matter wherever I go at, I always uplift your baby. And like, no mother should have to feel that type of pain. Like, I know what it feels like to lose a big brother that was like my father, my best friend, everything. And it almost killed me. I could not imagine, don't ever want to imagine losing one of my children and then your only child, and then as close, and then like, and I see the beautiful pictures that you be posting of your him. He was you, like you are him. Like, I mean, the only difference, you got hair and he had a nice clean haircut. Like that was like truly a baby, like the apple of your eye. And I say fight them to the end. I was going to use some potty words, but fight them completely to the end. Now that you can't spend time with your baby, spend time with them. You know, it's just sad they'll always try to silence it. And it won't be, and I'm telling you, the silence come in different ways. Silence might even come into them offering you a big payout settlement to say, oh, well, you know, take this in return for your silence. You just don't call out the killer cows, don't do this. They want to, you know, pretty much craft your language. Tell them take away the sun, take it and stick away the sun don't shine, because all the money in the world cannot bring back our loved ones. But it's just sad because at the end of the day, whatever, if they do ever come to a monetary settlement, which they should, because his children, you deserve that. You know, he was just graduated from high school, was doing everything. They snatched his whole damn life away from him, a provider. So they had no other choice. But it's just saying how the foolishness they do. Just like in my brother case, they snatched him away from his kids, away from me, everybody. Then they want to play, oh, you gotta be quiet games. I told them stick away the sun don't shine. I'm still gonna fight. I don't want to mess up, you know, my brother's children, you know, settlement case, but I'm going to speak up and I'm going to keep on upholding their name and fight like hell, because I know I'm not their father, but I'm the closest thing to them. You know, from their father. When they look at their father, they see me, and I love my nieces and my nephews. And it's sad that he has so many grandbabies. He didn't even get to meet. I only got to meet one of his grandsons, and he had just like got introduced to his grandson, literally, but did not even. So that don't even count because he didn't get to do nothing that he wanted to do, and it's just sad. But I'm gonna make sure, because I can't spend time with my big brother Tyrone West. We spending time with their brothers. We're spending time with them, and any which way we can support you, we definitely got your back. But you just keep that fight. You're so strong and beautiful, because stuff like this will literally drive somebody over the edge to commit like suicide, just all type of stuff. Just don't want to be there. Like, I like cringe up if my children get sick and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm praying and I'm feeling sick. So I couldn't imagine your pain. But when I see mothers like you on the front line that's just holding it down, all I could do is just love you and just say, you know what, keep it up. Y'all the strongest thing next to God, like really, because it has to be something that's inside you, you know, to love all that, to just keep on going and just be like, not zap out. But it's going to come a time, and I want them to hear me, and it's not no threat, but they're not going to continue on killing us and just walking back and being with their family and just coming on the air with some bullcrap. Recently, we just had a Baltimore shooting, an execution of a young 19-year-old. And the crazy part, the two killers came from Northeast District, the same
district that murdered my brother, where the 16 murderous stinking animals came from. And one was David Killer Lewis from Morgan State University, but where 16 killers came from, Northeast Police District. These killers, Ed Kruger killers. And then for the commissioner and the mayor to come on with this grim look and try to make stuff fit, shame on them. But it ain't gonna be until something happens to their damn family. They're gonna remember all the victims when they playing these damn devilish games. You get what you put out. Trust me, even if we don't see it, karma is something that comes on all of us. That's why I say it's like planting a seed. When you put out nice things, trust me, nice. So I already know that you done planted some good seeds. Your son done planted some good seeds. That's the seed of life that's keeping you going. Your son planted it. You get what I'm saying? And that's why you're going to get all the blessings throughout this hurt, throughout this anguish, pain. You're going to get all that. You get what I'm saying? And they're going to feel the wrath. They might don't feel it from us from this bullcrap system, but it's going to come. And I don't wish bad luck on nobody, but I do wish karma. I do wish karma. You need to feel like you made our families feel. You know, with any mother that cried over their child getting murdered. And like I said, these killers just killed a young 19-year-old named Darnell Rochester, literally. And the crazy part, what really makes me sick is how do what they do is they'll say, oh, it's a traffic stop, but then they'll start talking about community violence. Oh, we have such a string of carjackings and all this stuff, like that had something to do with them executing a young man. A young man. We had them, you know, on patrol, and we had the tag reading all this foolishness, and then they're gonna try to convince us that he ain't no weapon. Oh, he tried to ride us over with his car. All this foolishness. You want to gun him down. Both of y'all shoot into the car, and then if that wasn't enough to set up there and play on our emotions, intelligence, to say, oh, well, then after that, we just got out the car. He complied with us and everything. Like, first of all, the car shit window wipers kept going nonstop. So you mean to tell me after you hurt somebody, like you kill like a dying man, just gonna get out? Oh, please just help me, and then y'all just we try to render aid, and that's the part that kills me, because they'll try to say we tried to render Tyrone West aid. No, the F y'all did.
They didn't even render.
Right, and my thing is, first of all, if you wouldn't have started killing our loved ones, you wouldn't need to render no goddamn aid. Somebody should have did that to you and rendered aid. Let me render aid to you when somebody do what you did to our damn loved ones. That's how I feel. Save your freaking aid. That's just a show. That's the dog and pony show for the neighbors that should have jumped on y'all and whipped your hind parts. You get what I'm saying? God forgive me, but enough is enough. Like, you know, it's just sad that we got to keep going through this and then keep on playing this dog and pony show, and they keep on, oh, well, we're sorry, we're going to do this, and we're going to write stuff down on paperwork. And I remember, and one of my memories on Facebook literally came up today, and I'll share it later, but we were at Annapolis in 2016, shortly after the Freddie Gray riots and things of that nature. We went out there and we were lobbying for changes in the officer killer rights, because they used to have the 10 days to testify, and they knocked it down to 5. They shouldn't have nothing. They don't get interrogated. They get an interview. Let's be crystal clear on that. But it's so sad that, do you know that one of the killers of Freddie Gray had the nerve, sis, to show up to Annapolis with his goddamn suit on, Officer Porter, and then literally come sat by me and then asked me why I saw a video. And I looked over, I was with my brother JC. I said, JC, wait a minute, am I saying that? I know that ain't Officer Porter. And JC said, hold up. JC went over there, and we went out there to talk, asked me what, and we were in a public place, like, take that camera off me, take that. No, you shouldn't. You want to be hot? You want to be seen. I slam put his butt out there on Facebook immediately, and then the media started picking up on it. But they kill us, and then they want to sit back and watch it. Just like I know probably some of the killers are watching my Facebook now, but if you're watching, you see that? Excuse me for being ignorant, excuse me for being ghetto. Screw right. You. I'm on your heels. That's how I feel. You know, some days I keep it clean and I'm like, oh, you know, I cleaned it up, but today I don't care. Especially when I see a mother on here who baby get killed in a church where we go and pray, a church where we put our loved ones to rest when they had funerals, a church where he showed up to show his damn respect. And then y'all play the family like, oh, it was a game. There was a game. The biggest game in America. They're a gang. They are mafia. They are hit squad. The difference from them and the regular gang members, I got Mad respect for regular gang members. Mad love and respect because even they got codes. You get what I'm saying? But these jokers, they don't have no codes. When they kill us and wipe us out, nothing happens to them. They're protected by this so-called justice system. When we know it ain't no justice, it's just us trying to hold folks accountable. It's just sad and disgusting. We always gotta say cool by yards when they get charges dropped on them, as they should. But we always gotta be, the killers of Ahmaud Arbery, they got, they found all of them guilty. They found them as a hate crime. It was a hate crime. They should have got more than they should have got the death goddamn penalty.
That's right.
You kill a black man like we in the 1916s and we in 2021, 2022 now, and you go and execute somebody because they jogging through the neighborhood. And then you video it. And then the crazy part that even freaks me out about that, none of this would have never happened if the dummy wouldn't have put it up on Facebook and it went live. But they sick and sadistic. That's the difference. They sick, but they don't want to always talk about, black on black crime. First of all, it's no such things. All races kill. So stop keep allowing them to tell us, it's black on black crime. No, Caucasian kill Caucasians. That ain't white on white crime. And they the main serial killers. I love white people. They support me and all that. I'm not racist or anything. But you call a spade a spade. But when we kill each other, it's black on black crime, all this foolishness. So enough is enough. So I just wanted to ask you, sister, do you want to add anything before we check in with the comments and the questions? Mic check.
No, I don't have anything to add in. I'm ready for questions.
All right. So I will check in with our brother Marcellus. Mic check. I want to see if you have any questions. I think the boards are lit up. I can see this beautiful board. It's definitely lit up. So if you can share the questions, comments, and not just on my page, but on all the platforms as you so elegantly do every week. And I just want to thank you for that. Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you. So to start with the comments, Hillary says mic check here in support. Joseph Bannister says Tawanda Jones for mayor. Hillary says mic check. AC Britt says mic check. Joseph says in Tawanda Jones we trust. Bill says can't stop, won't stop till killer cops are in cell blocks. Bill says, yes, Fred Cox deserves your dedication in the fight for accountability, Tanika. I'm inspired by your commitment. AC Britt says, sending love to Tanika. Hillary says, so horrible and disgusting. There can be no excuse for that officer's behavior. Accountability for Fred Cox and his amazing mother. Bruce says, good evening, y'all. AC says, their narrative for that shooting matches the narrative used nationwide every time they do this. And Bruce says hashtag Tawanda Jones for mayor. And AC Britt says their narrative has also changed a couple of times already. Mic check.
Yeah, mic check.
And that is correct. They went from they saw a gun near my baby to my son brandished a gun to my son approached him aggressively with a gun. What gun? Nobody can produce it. What could he have done? He was dead. They didn't even render aid. In the reports, it state that he was removed from the scene within 10 minutes. They knew day one who killed my baby. Day one. And they had us to believe that it was gang violence. That's unfair. That's not fair. Like his funeral it was cops everywhere. They blocked the streets off. Like it was unnecessary. They didn't kill him. The police killed him. The one that was there to protect me at my son's funeral. How unfair. And still to this day, no apology.
That's terrible. And the thing is, sis, I don't mean to cut you off, but they act like they sending somebody out to watch over you and your family. They was only out there for their own self-gratification. They wasn't over there to protect you. They was trying to see, did y'all hear anything yet? Did y'all find out who did what? That's all that was about. Because literally, when I say in my brother's case, literally after they murdered him, police jumped in the ambulance to go with him to Good Sam Hospital. Police talked to the doctors at Good Sam Hospital. And even after they hid my brother's body for 5 days, even after my brother's beautiful daughter paid for all the funeral costs, everything, nickel and dime herself, said, this is what I want to do for my dad, pay for everything. We call and say, what can we see how long? We didn't get a chance. We didn't even get that call that they killed Tyro. Had it not been for the grace of God, me feeling pain in my body, and I'm freaking out, telling my whole family something's wrong with my brother, something's going on bad, and it got confirmed when we saw my brother's dead body on the gurney on the 10 o'clock news. But nevertheless, they said police presence, heavy police presence, even at the candlelight visual that we had for my brother. And I heard, and the Sun had quoted that 2 of the officers that murdered my brother had the nerve to be at the candlelight visual watching over us. That's how sick and sadistic they are. You dealing with nuts, nutcrackers. You can't make this up. Like crazy, they get off on watching our pain, get off on reliving what they did, fantasizing on what they did. They are sick individuals. And that's sick. But like when you say about the police and them to have you believe and have your family so scared, and I can imagine like elderly people in your family that wanted to come pay their respects, like, oh my God, again, I'm scared to show up because they might shoot us up, and the biggest gang is them. I'm so sorry.
My son's principal, he stated, if I didn't have children, if I didn't have a family, I would risk my life and come.
My God.
He stated that to me. They called me on the the assistant principal and the principal called me on a conference call to tell me that they didn't feel safe with coming to my son's funeral because they thought he was murdered by a gang.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
He was murdered by a gang.
He was. And I echo that.
Right, by the biggest gang.
The biggest gang in America. He truly was. But they wanted to believe that it was just a low-key gang. It was just a legalized gang. That's the difference.
Right.
Legalized, organized gang that's been killing us for 400 plus years. I'm so sorry.
It's sad, but I must say I have a strong team behind me. Like in the beginning, I always felt alone. I was depressed. I was suicidal. I mean, I just felt like I had nothing to live for. And FCLM Fred Cox Life Matters Foundation really pulled me together. My parents, they are phenomenal. They really saved my life. Wow. And I am forever grateful. I am forever grateful.
But you deserve it, like you're a queen, and I just commend your strength. And you don't look nothing like the hellish nightmare that you're living in and breathing in every single day. You're beautiful, not just on the outside, cool, but on the inner side, the inside. And I love it. And I just want you to know you're not alone. If you ever need anything, you just pick up that phone, you call me. I don't care what time of the night, what hour, however, whenever. You just call me, reach out.
Thank you.
Reach out. Like
I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you, my queen. So definitely, but I want to check it because I know you got another obligation to go, and I don't want to hold you up no further. But first, I want to check in with the West Wednesday panel coalition to see if they want to personally ask you something. Then I want to check in with the comments or questions. Even if Marvin want to ask you something, say something to you. And then also, I want to give a big shout out on a happy note to our beautiful sister Angela. It's her birthday today. So
yes, happy birthday, sis.
Yes. And by the way, she's the sister of Timothy Fleming that was executed again in Baltimore City by the biggest gang in America. Horrible. Disgusting. But yeah, I want to check in real quick with the West Wednesday Coalition first, and then with our online beautiful watchers. Mic check.
Mic check. I just want to say, my heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you. Like sitting there listening to the story is so traumatizing. And to hear it over again and again, and again and again, like every day it's a new one, every day, and it just brings the pain back. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you gotta go through that. It's
Thank
terrible.
you.
I'm
And
so
again, if
sorry.
there's anything that my family, myself, and my foundation can do to assist you, please let us know. I'm here for you as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm gonna check in with Marcellus real quick to see if Marcellus have any more questions or comments. Mic check.
Mic check. So Daniel says, we want answers. Marilyn Mosby finally identified Donnell Rochester as the young man murdered by Baltimore Police Department. Say his name. Bill says, the names of the two cops who killed 18-year-old Donnell Rochester on Saturday in Baltimore have been released. The killers are Robert Morey and Connor Murray. Mic check.
Mic check. Well, again, my queen, thank you. And
Thank
I'm
you.
praying for you. And again, I'm only a phone call away. And you know, if it get real late, you're only a few hours away. I can get there. It is what it is. Like, whatever you
I
need.
appreciate it.
So just try the best to enjoy the rest of your day and just keep the beautiful fight. And just know that your son, even though he's physically not here with us, but he's spiritually connected, and that bond ain't going nowhere. So, you know, if you believe in praying and believing in God, just ask God to let you see some signs and feel his spirit, and he will, like, just out the blue, one of his favorite songs might pop up, or just something weird or happen. You're like, wait a minute, that was weird. No, that was just saying, Mom, I'm right here. Just like you got that big, beautiful smile, he got that big, handsome smile, smiling down on you right now, saying, thank you so much, Mom. Like, and it's like the only thing that I can make sense about all of this is the only thing is, you know, the same way we have a birth date, we have a death date. We don't know when, we don't know how, but we do have a death date. And I know, and I really feel in my heart that we're going to meet our loved ones again in a better space, a better place and time. But we still got a lot of work here to do on earth in the physical realm. So just keep fighting, sister. Know that you got a bunch of Baltimore supporters. And is any foundation information that you want to share on here or any ways that we can support you? Now is the time, my queen. Mic check.
Mic check. You can find us on Facebook at FCLM Foundation. That's Fred Cox Life Matters Foundation on Facebook. Instagram, Fred Cox _ Life Matters. We have a Cash App. It is $ Fred's Life Matters 713. And you can also find us at fclm.org.
Thank you so much, my queen.
Thank you for having me, beautiful. I appreciate everything.
God bless you. Keep the fight, and just God bless you. And I'm just praying that if anybody's in that neighborhood, could you share the Friday event one more time so that way it can be clean and all of our hearts that way. If anybody want to come out support, please come out and support our queen.
Oh, I see how to add it. I will add it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, my queen. Mic check. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. And as I was saying, this is like good and kind of sad and heartbreaking day. And that's why I felt compelled to reach out to my queen, Mara. When I was saying that, I'm like, oh my God, it is Jamal's birthday. Jamal also was executed in Baltimore, in the county. County, city is all the same game, different names. It's terrible, you know. So, but the fact that Mara has been doing a tremendous, outstanding job on not only making everybody aware of what happened to Jamal Taylor and just being a strong, beautiful queen that she is, raising their beautiful children, you know, alone in these kind of times, or even with the help without his help. You know, I'm quite sure she got a big support system and things like that, as she should. But the fact that he's not here, you know, the fact that she has to go through this nightmare, and then the fact that a day that's supposed to be celebrated is one of them days that really make you so sad and you start crying all over again. So again, I want to wrap my arms and my heart. I'm sending you a big virtual hug. Just like I'm sending my sister Tanika a big virtual hug. I love you, my queen, and the floor is all yours. Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you, Queen. You know I always love you, always appreciate you. You and West Wednesdays. Today is Jamal's birthday, and his spirit is stronger than ever. It's like he never even left. His spirit is stronger than ever. We always remember him. I see him every time I see our son. I see him in our daughters, his family. You know, we always remember Jamal. That's why I always call him immortal. Y'all couldn't kill him. Y'all killed him, but y'all couldn't kill his spirit. Y'all did kill him, but y'all couldn't kill his spirit. So, you know, we're celebrating him today. Thank you for asking me to be on today. I was really emotional today, and I didn't know. I really don't know where to begin with talking, because it's just so traumatizing to keep going through the same thing and the same emotions, and then sit there and think about, why am I fighting for something that the system should see as wrong anyway?
Exactly.
We shouldn't have to fight so hard for something that the system know is wrong, that they know is unjust, that they know these killers need to be put in jail. But here we go, fighting and asking and demanding something that should be given to us anyway. Because if any one of us had did it, if any one of us was out here for gun, if any one of us was out here doing what they was doing, we would be locked up. But here we go, the families that y'all brought this to us, and we have to stay out here and we have to fight, and we got to beg, and we got to demand, and we got to march, and we got to talk just for y'all to do something y'all should have been done. But this is America, you know? So Jamal Taylor, he was murdered by the police on September 28th of 2019. It's on video. That's literally how me and his family found out that he was killed. Thank God somebody recorded it, because they could have made up any story. They put out on the news that his background and stuff, as if, you know, that takes away from the fact that the police murdered him in broad daylight. They always victimize, they always make the killers out to be monsters.
Yeah.
The problem with that is they didn't know Jamal's background when they killed him. They didn't know Jamal's background when they followed him around. They didn't even know if he was the one who did the allegations that they gave to him. But yet they still decide to kill him. They are police. Protect and serve. They're not lawyers. They're not judges. They're not executors. But that day and many other days, they decided to play those roles. And here I am fighting for my children. Here my children are without their father. And the only thing they can do is take us in circles. We're going to court. I have a lawyer and everything, and they keep taking us in circles. They want me to prove that I'm the children guardian. They trying to say they don't know which police department killed them. They don't know if it was Baltimore County or Hunt Valley. They found out it was Baltimore County who killed them. I didn't even know it's a difference in those. Now we still fighting for I can be the attorney, the person to speak for them. Yeah, power attorney. I have to fight for that. That's what we've been fighting for the longest time. We send in birth certificates, death certificate. We send copies. They want the real one. We send the real one. They want copies. Just send us in circles, because they know what the police did was wrong. And they want us to, it's like they trying to make us die out, like give up. It's like they do that to make you try to give up. And I'm gonna be honest, it makes you want to be like, look, I'm just tired. I got these kids to take care of. I'm trying to get this stuff done, but I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not always active, but I'm not gonna stop fighting for him or any other family. Whenever I get a chance to support them, I will. Whenever I get a chance to say Jamal's name, I'm screaming it from the top of my lungs. I'm gonna say Jamal Taylor. Today was hard. He would have been 34. And I think about what I want people to remember about him, because we always have to say our loved one names and you know what people should remember about them and why they shouldn't have killed a human being on the street in broad daylight. We have to explain what made him so special and so different. Y'all shouldn't be killing people regardless.
Exactly.
So I just want people to remember that he's human.
Yeah.
He had a beating heart. He breathed just like every one of y'all. He bled just like every one of us. and he was murdered. And then once you remember that he's a human, remember he was a father. So those children that he could have took care of, he could have watched grow up, he could have instilled the revolutionary thoughts and mindset, they have to go without him. I'm left to teach him all that. He was a son, his mother's only son. Remember that he was a son to her. She has to go without her son. She has to go knowing that her son was killed by the police and he has no accountability. His father's only son. His father got to go around knowing that his son was murdered by the police. And then we think about, what do we do? How do we fight this? What are we doing? Da, 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 da. Thank God we have a support system. Thank God for West Wednesdays. Thank God for Tawanda. Thank God for everybody who say something and step up. No matter how small you think it is, it's big to me and it's big to all the families. I'm just, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's sick. It's sad. It's ridiculous. It's emotional. It's like an emotional roller coaster. Fighting against a government that's claimed that we had a right to due process, but you're killing the people out on the streets before they can even prove that they're innocent. In America, land of the free, home of the brave, we're sitting here fighting for justice. We're fighting for accountability. We're asking questions about something y'all should tell us about anyway. About something y'all should do anyway. We got to go to court about something y'all should have took care of anyway. Mic check.
Mic check. And I just want, you got me, I'm trying not to cry, oh my God, but it's just hard. And I just commend you because I watch you, we don't like talk every day, but I always watch you. I always look, and I'm just so proud of you, like, because I know how you got young kids, like, you know what I mean? Like, they growing up, but you got young kids that you are instilling things inside of them, bringing them up to be beautiful queens and kings and just all, and you got to still work. You got to pay your dues in society, education, you got to take them to school. It's just a big task. It don't just stop at just holding them accountable for killing their fault. You get what I'm saying? You got a big task on your plate, and I just commend you, and I just encourage you to keep on fighting. And when you get tired, guess what, Queen? I'm gonna hold you up, just like always.
Yes, you do.
You ain't gotta worry about it. If you want to take months off to go take the kids on vacation, or just to be like, you know what, I'm tired of this ass. I'm gonna throw it in the bag. I'm gonna pick that bag up, and I got you. Don't even worry.
Thank you.
I got you. Like, you need to thank, because it's sad and it's sickening. Like, and then we ask ourselves, each time one of our loved ones get murdered, and like you say, they paint our loved ones out as if they the bad guys, as if they deserve what they got. And that's sick, and that's more disgusting than anything. But then when it's a white victim, all the sympathy and all the empathy comes in. Just like when, because to me, a victim is a victim regardless of their skin color. But we know the connection is in the complexion. Let's be crystal clear. I'm not even going to blow smoke up nobody hind parts. The truth, need no support. Because I think about when the white lady was murdered, when she walked up to she called because she heard some noise, or she thought somebody was getting robbed or raped or something. She called 911. She went up to the black officer's car. He smoked her like they always do. But they made a first time in history. First of all, they called her the most innocent victim. I never heard of such. But then you had baby Tamir Wright, a baby, playing on a playground, a 12-year-old, gunned down in seconds. They never called Tamir Wright an innocent victim. You had a poor baby that was actually in a home, the 7-year-old girl. Baby girls, they call her a sleeping beauty, but they never called her the most innocent victim, and all of them. And it's just sad and disgusting, but yet he got time. And then I even look at, and I'm praying for Daunte Wright family. This evil, racist pig gunned him down, and you scream, "Oh, taser, taser!" You know damn well you had a gun. But the crazy part, you see this witch smiling like a devil with her sick, sadistic self on a mugshot. Who does that? And then the crazy part, it's a murder, because really clear that it's a murder, and they don't give a damn about us, because any judge in a right freaking mind would have made a big note of that would have been a black man that murdered a white person, and he's smiling on his mugshot. oh, he would have been called so many animals, and you're sick and you're twisted, and because they would have upped the game and gave out even more time to what was offered on the table. It would have been,
Yeah.
you're making a mockery of this family. They would have showed the picture up, and when everybody, you see what you're smiling, what was you smiling from? But none of that. No. All they ever do is constantly praise these white killers, and pretty much they're saying job well done. And literally they give our juveniles, our grown men, our women time for marijuana that's legalized. I done seen people, including my brother, get 10 years for marijuana. My brother didn't kill nobody, and it wasn't even his marijuana. But when he got caught up the wrong place at the wrong time with somebody, and because I don't want to be a snitch, I don't want, whatever.
Yeah.
They put my brother to jail for 10 years for some freaking marijuana. Freaking marijuana that's legalized, but yet this killer, she gets less 2 years. She ain't even gonna do that. She'd be home by the summertime. This
Yeah.
killer will be home by the freaking summertime. It is sick and it's disgusting. And that's all, like, that's sad. And then to put a family member through that, like, they're praying, and even the time that they was offering her wasn't long enough. But for you to shorten that and you do that, they all some racist pigs. Period.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Marcellus to see if he have any questions or comments. But before we go to the question or comments, is there anything else you want to add before we go to the question or comments?
Oh no, not right now. No.
All right, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. So AC Britt says hashtag Jamal Taylor, love to Mara, love to the children, bring the fire queen. Hillary says sending you love, Mara. AC says their tactics are disgusting. They want you to give up, but don't. We got you. Bill says my thoughts are with Jamal today, and wonderful to hear from you, Mara. Dare to struggle, dare to win. We will defeat this racist capitalist system that breeds killer cops. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Yes. And so on a bright note, because we know we don't even have to humanize our love. Like you said, he was a human. He had, but I just wanted, because it's his birthday, can you just think of like one real, even though every moment, because I hate when people are like, well, what was the happiest moment you had with Tyrone? Every moment that he was living on this freaking earth. Every moment. But I just wanted to kind of focus in on anything like really special, like that showed, like, that piqued your interest even more than all y'all special, beautiful moments that made you and your kids smile and laugh. Because that's what I don't want you, like, suffering and pain. I want you, because the beautiful person that you are, the beautiful work that you're doing, and fighting, I just want you to leave on like a good note. What was one of like the most beautiful things that you could remember of him, or the most thing that really touched your heart about him?
Jamal, he had a beautiful heart, and he loved purely. He loved our children purely. He loved the community. He loved helping people. We'll be outside. He always wanted to help somebody. He sees somebody in danger, he running up there. He gonna protect them. You don't need no police. You got Jamal right there. Right. So Jamal, he just had a good heart, like a warrior. Gone too soon. He would have had these streets on lockdown. Like, they would have been good. Like, they took away a warrior. They took away somebody with a pure good heart. They took that away from us. That was my favorite thing about him. That was the thing that I always admired. So that when I was 15, I was from 15 to 28. I'm 30. We wasn't together when he passed. When I was 15, I seen him. I was like, oh, he's everything. Look at him. And he just he reminded me of Tupac a little bit. Like, I'm like, he gonna make a change. Like, we gonna be like Malcolm X and Betty Shabazz. Like, I always wanted that, and it hurts that I'm here fighting. I'm fighting. I'm out here. I'm trying to be part of this revolution, and he can't be part of it. And so that's what hurts. But I love everything he taught me. I love everything he taught our kids, and I love how he played with our kids and how he always tried to make us laugh. I tried to put some of his humor in my stories today on Facebook because he was funny. He was funny. He was naturally funny.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's so beautiful. Just made me feel like you just left a whole burden of sadness because just seeing you and our sister Tanika, and she's, mourning the loss of her only child, and you mourning the loss of your children father, probably like your first love as teenagers,
Yep.
type of thing. It's just heartbreaking and devastating. So definitely thank you, my queen, for the laughter. And just always keep the good memories, and just always know that no matter what, even if you need to take a break and go from this, just know that we're gonna still hold it down for Jamal. He ain't going nowhere. Like they can physically take our loved ones away, but they can't spiritually take the connection. And that's all. Like this shell, the body that we in, this is like us, but it's not really us. It's our spirits. It's what we're living legends. Like each and every day, we make history. That's why it's called his story, her story, history. You know what I mean? So even when our body goes back to the dirt where it was came from, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, we still they're gonna have all the memories, the beautiful things that they can remember us, the stuff that earth and earth, that's gonna always be here no matter what. So they ain't kill him. They ain't kill him. They ain't kill him.
Nope.
They ain't kill
Now
him
his
at all.
spirit's so strong. His spirit's so strong.
Absolutely. And then it's like what you said, and it touched on a lot of things when you said that, like, he was a peacemaker, he would have kept the streets good. And that reminded me of my big brother. Anybody that know Tyrone West, aka Weeder, as the streets call him, that knew him, knew that he did not play no nonsense. He made sure everybody in my family was respected, and he made sure we respected each other. They call for anything. He would drop what he was doing at a drop of a dime. He would take the shirt off his back to make sure somebody's happy. Because if you think about their life leading up to when they was murdered, you think about it, it's just crazy how stuff happened. You just look at it like, damn, I didn't know that they was gonna be gone on that day. But then you start rethinking of stuff. I know y'all wasn't together when it happened, but still, you'll start thinking about last memories with the kids. You be like, they did some extra stuff. You're like, why did they do that? Now it'll start making sense to you. You get what I'm saying? It might not make sense that day, but I'm just thinking about, like, when my brother pulled off, I'm like looking at his eyes glow up, but not knowing I'm locking eyes for the last time. And I'm looking like, and I started laughing, like, why are you looking at me like that? He like, cuz he made me laugh. I'm ready for you to go in the house so I can pull up and holding me up. And I just started busting out laughing, but it was just something spiritually there. You get what I'm saying? Like leading up to our last sermon in church that Sunday, not knowing that he was going to be returned to that same church for our pastor to preach over his dead body. Like, the things that you don't know what's going to happen is just mind blowing. But I just ask us, just as surviving victims, right? Because we're victims too. Because when our loved ones are snatched, they're murdering us. We're here. They're gone. They life complete. They good because they with the king. You get what I'm saying? But we down here suffering. We the one feel pain in our body when we get sick. We cry. We get stressed out. We got to pay these bills. We got to take care of the children. We got to be everything. Every woman, you know what I mean? We got to do everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes people don't even understand. Like, even after 9 years, like, I done had people say, damn, you still be crying. You still can't sleep at night. You got to wait till it happened to you. That's all I say. Wait till it happened to you. And I'm going to check in and see 9 years if I'm still here, is you still sleeping good or you still not crying? Because people don't know until it hit them. But I want to check in real quick. And I see my beautiful sister, Nicole, here. And we know. And Nicole, I want to ask you, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I think our sister deserves one of your beautiful songs. Like, I really just feel like stuff like that. I think we deserve it. Right? We deserve that real
quick. Okay, let me see if I can get it out.
I know you got it.
In a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. This is one of Tawanda's favorite songs.
My favorite, yes. Number one. I'm gonna be lip syncing, so y'all just watch my lips. I'm gonna be acting like I'm Nicole. I wish I could sing.
Okay. He blessed me through all the pain. Right. And he blessed me through all the rain. When Jesus heard my story, he blessed me. I knew that he would. He He blessed me. He understood. He blessed me. I knew that he would. So I'm asking, please hold my hand and bless me and every man. Take my hand and walk me through, 'cause I need you. I'm feeling so blue, but he blessed me with all this good. He blessed me. He understood. So Jesus, please help me now. 'Cause Jesus, I don't know how, but he blessed me. So shine me high, 'cause he blessed me. And I don't know why.
Yeah,
Ray go to church now.
Yeah, y'all got church again for free on a West Wednesday. I ain't even past the basket. I'm gonna skip over the basket. Yeah, thank you so much. And if this your first time ever tuning in, the beautiful Queen Dakota just sung like she's a true living testimony. Not only did she lose her father-in-law, who really she never had a chance to even embrace, love up on or anything, but she was blessed to actually, you know, take upon being a part of her his son's life. You know, that looks the splitting image of Anthony. Anthony Anderson was unfortunately killed by the hit squad in Baltimore a year before my brother was executed. But then to have a father-in-law and you're dealing with trauma of losing, a family member due to police violence, then to turn around and lose your child. Like she lost her daughter, her 16-year-old baby girl, literally 2 weeks, as if, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine. And again, like I said, for any mother, and I'm not being petty comparing pain or none of that, because you can't, because somebody pain level can't take just losing an uncle, a girlfriend, or whatever, because pain is pain and it's very traumatizing. But my heart really goes out when any parent loses their children. Because we know that if you're Bible believers, we know that the way God would have it is, and our children will bury us. We should never, ever have to bury our children. Never, ever. Never, ever. So again, my heart goes out. Queen, I want to, before we check in on the questions and comments, I wanted to see if you wanted to say anything. Mic check.
Mic check. Yeah, I just wanted to say that it is truly a blessing to have met you, Tawanda, because through all of our struggles, through all of this pain, it's good to know that I have somebody out there whose heart is open and full of love and that can understand 100% what I'm going through. Like you said, you can't imagine one of your children being murdered or anything like that, but it's still the support system that helps me get through this. Coming to West Wednesday, every chance that I get, I might not make all the meetings, but I try to be here as much as possible. It eases my mind. It eases my spirit. It gives me the strength to be able to carry on just a little while longer, because I know for a fact in my heart, like you said, everybody don't believe in God. Everybody is not spiritual, and that's understandable. And I can respect that, but I'm just speaking for myself as being a Christian woman. This is definitely therapeutical for me to be able to get up, because there's some days that I just I don't want to anymore. I'm tired of fighting this fight. I'm tired of every year I have to put just a post on Facebook or some kind of social media just to remember my father-in-law and my daughter. I could never hold my baby again and tell her how much I love her. And unfortunately, I never got the opportunity to meet my father-in-law. The first time I ever laid eyes on this man was when he was in his casket, and that was wrong. But I'm going to continue to fight and keep his name alive and keep my daughter's name alive. Anthony Anderson and Ajay Harad, neither one of their names will ever die as long as there's breath in my body. And like I said, I want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody that comes to West Wednesday, come to the rallies. Just give us a phone call and say, I understand, I love you, I'm here for you. If you need to talk, I'm here. I greatly appreciate everyone who lends out their hand and their heart to uplift all of us. Because Tawanda, you have to have so much strength and endurance for you to be able to do this week after week after week, and you're still standing and you're still going strong, and then you're not getting the answers that you want and deserve because of what precious gem that was taken away from you that you can never get back again until you leave this physical body and meet him again in the spiritual world. You know, and I take my hat off to you because you made that pathway for the rest of us to be able to come in and get that love and that attention and that strength that we see through you to be able to make it through ourselves. And, you know, I really appreciate, you know, you letting me in and you allowing me to come here and speak and try to belt out a couple of notes for a song or whatever. You know, and I've been told on here a couple of times that my music actually touched a couple of people, which makes me feel good and makes me feel like, you know, everything that I'm doing and all that I'm going through is not in vain. That's what the biggest issue is. You don't want to feel like all of this struggle and hurt and pain that you're doing is in vain. And I don't ever want anybody to feel like that's what it is. If you need us, we are here. No matter what. I don't care if man, woman, chick, or child. If you're enduring the kind of pain and hurt that we are going through, you are more than welcome. And I thank you again for allowing me to be here. I ain't gonna take up no more time. And I want to say thank you, and I appreciate you, and I love you.
I want to thank you, and we appreciate you. And I just want to tell you that anybody that hears you sing, you touch them. I don't care if they don't believe in singing, nothing. They ain't got to believe in our Jesus Christ. But you got a beautiful voice that touches everybody, and it's so passionate, it's so beautiful, and it's so uplifting. Like you made Marva smile. Like I saw the hurt and pain. I'm so sorry that you got on a little bit late because I would have loved for you, but I'm gonna send Tanika, you missed her. She was the one that her son Fred Cox was actually murdered at a church going to a funeral, literally by killer cops and off-duty detectives, and they had her family believing for literally 2 weeks that some gang members, which it was correct, gang members did kill, but they try to make it seem like it was just the local street gang, but they all above. They just a murder to gang members. So it's just really sad for her to happen. And I learned something. That's why I love to bring you know, even though I don't get no joy out of this, but I actually love bringing you guys back on because we learn more. It's almost like if you watch a movie over and over again, one part you're like, wait a minute, I ain't never see that part. Oh my goodness, check that out. And I know this is not a movie. This is our real life, our pains, our tragedies. But I learned something each time. Just like I learned, you know, that you didn't even get a chance to meet your father-in-law. And the whole time, you know, many times you have been on the platform. At first I thought, oh, well, you know, Nicole got a chance. You know, I have to always wonder, how was your relationship? But then one time before you came on, he was like very transparent. He said, hey, I never got a chance to meet, you know, my you know, father-in-law. And I'm like, oh my God, like I learned something new every time. Just like Marvel was saying about, you know, Jamal and how he was like one of the persons that everybody can go to protect them on the streets and stuff. That was something that, I thought, but I didn't know. She confirmed it, and I did not know today. And we had Tanika on here before, but I never knew that they had to have a private funeral because they were so scared. And even the principal of the school wanted to come to see, because Fred Cox had just graduated from high school, literally an 18-year-old just graduated, made his mama proud, walking across the stage. His principal wanted to come, and just imagine, but they getting all this stuff, and to have the killers actually escort them and say, we're going to watch over you and your family, and they the ones who did all the damn shit. I mean, we can't make this stuff up. So she's giving the event on this Friday, so I'm urging everybody, and today is Jamal Taylor's birthday, his heavenly birthday, and it's just said this king should have been here. Life totally gone too soon, as if all of our loved ones, especially your baby girl, like all of our loved ones, like shut off too soon. So I'm gonna check in real quick. Mara, do you want to say anything or add anything before we check into the comments and questions? Mic check.
Oh no, I don't have anything to say.
Mic check.
But I love y'all. I love y'all.
Love
Deep
you
in my heart.
too.
All the way. All the way. Nothing but love for y'all. I'll do anything for y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank
Love
y'all.
you too.
Love you more, Queen. Just keep doing your thing. So we're gonna check in with Marcellus real quick before we unfortunately go to our sad list that we do. And it's just so sad and disgusting, but it's something that's definitely needed. Marcellus, do you have any final questions or comments? Mic check.
Angel says, good evening. Also, Ben put in the links for people to donate to fclm.org, FCLM Foundation, Facebook, and the Cash App, $ Fred's Life Matters 713. This is for Fred Cox's family. Mic check.
Mic check. Yeah, so again, I just want to give you guys a big shout out. Start with our queen sister, Tanika, which I know she had another engagement and obligation, but I'm sending virtual love, virtual hugs to our sister queen. No mother should endure what she is enduring right now. Like literally, this was her only child. It doesn't matter if you have, like my beautiful sister Nicole has, what you have, like 14 children, or I don't know. I lost count.
I had 18, but I got 10.
10. I'm sorry. Well, she got 10. She got 10 children, but it don't matter if you had 14, 15, 20, a whole football field of children. You can't replace another child's life with another child's life. But the fact that to actually take a mother's only child, I hope they burn in hell for every last one of our loved ones. And the fact that our beautiful sister Mara is on here, her children gotta remember their father instead of being with their father, making memories. They gotta remember their father. And the fact that Tyrone West's children, grandchildren, gotta remember their father and grandfather. And my family, we gotta remember our loved one. Shame on them. I just wish them all calm. That's it. I just wish them calm. I wish they get what's coming to them. I wish whatever they did comes back double for your trouble. That's what I wish. I'm not wishing anything bad, but hey, you get what you give. It's like planting a seed. So I just want to thank y'all. But this is the part where I really don't like, but it has to be done. And tonight our Uncle Bill is not, in queue with us, but he's actually like watching. And he has a busy schedule tonight. But normally he does the police brutality list. Our brother Marcellus will be doing it, and we will be reading these sad lists. But I want to take 2 minutes, guys. And that's for a minute each for both of the lists. 2 minutes is not long enough because now we have families. We literally have families now that are left stuck in sorrow, left stuck in a nightmare that no matter if it's on the police brutality list or the street violence community list, it is horrible. Nobody loved ones deserves to be murdered, and just life snatch, and you got to be remembering what if, or then you got to be stuck in a place of, oh my God, I wish I could have turned that day around and they could have been with me, or I could have did something different, and we're blaming ourselves for something that didn't even have nothing to do with us. You know, that just our loved ones was murdered. So I just want to take 2 minutes. If you pray, please say a prayer. If you don't pray and you want to send good thoughts and good vibes into the universe, that's great as well. So just take these 2 minutes. But we got to do something, because enough is enough. As we see, our commissioner's not doing anything. You know, they paid this man a big fat check before he even, knowing that every commissioner that we had has failed us in the past. Why would you write somebody a whole paycheck? That's almost paying for my meal before I even get it. And I sent you a tip. I gave you a big tip. I don't even know if the food good, none of that, but I done paid you in food. Shame on the city. Shame, shame, shame. So again, let's take 2 minutes of silence. Mic check. Thank you, everyone, for taking those 2 minutes. And again, thank our special guest. Shout out to Tanika for your tenacity and strength, and just encouraging us no matter what, no matter how bad the rainstorm gets, no matter what, we just have to have that fighting spirit. And sometimes it wears us out. And it's okay to take a break, just like our sister Marva said. A big shout out to Marva and her family. I'm just praying for them. And a big shout out to our sister Nicole. And a big shout out to my sister Angela, who was her birthday, and she has to be here trying to make the best of her birthday without her brother Timothy Fleming. And just a shout out to all the families that you're about to hear on this sad list. It's just horrible, heartbreaking, and my heart goes out. And if anybody knows someone that's on this list and I can help them in any which way, please send them in my directions. So we're gonna start off with this horrible sad list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Okay, so I'm going to read names of folks who have died by violence here in Baltimore. This is since the 11th of this month. There are some names that we know we don't have yet. But I'm just going to read them off. And if you would just say them back to me, say their names aloud, so we can uplift them and their families and all their loved ones, and just all the people who've been affected by their unfortunate passing. So first, on the 11th, Dominic Durton, age 35.
Dominic
Durton, age 35.
Ahmed Artis, 54.
Ahmed Artis,
age 54.
Terrell Caldwell, age 29.
Terrell
Caldwell, 29.
29.
Quentin Bond, 29.
Quentin Bond,
29.
Cynthia Grace, 55.
Cynthia Grace,
Grace,
55.
55.
Montrell Bateas, 16.
Montreal,
15.
16.
Robert Parks, 20.
Robert Park,
20.
20.
Tyron Tates, 19.
Tyron Tate,
19.
19.
And as Tawanda said, just recently here in town, Donnell Rochester, 18. Killed by
Donnell
a bullet.
Rochester,
18.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Mic check.
Mic check.
So I'll be reading the list of victims whose lives were taken by the police. This is a long list dating back to February 9th. It includes 25 victims, including Donnell Rochester, who was killed in Baltimore by the police at age 18. Starting with February 9th, from Daytona Beach, Florida, 36-year-old Randy Lansing.
Randy
Lansing.
22-year-old from New Orleans, Louisiana, Terrell Russell.
Russell.
Also on February 9th, from Aurora, Colorado, age not given, Jose de Jesus Montoya Villa.
Jose de Jesus Montoya Villa.
Also on February 9th, in Stovall, North Carolina, 23-year-old Makari Smith.
Makari Smith.
Also on February 9th, in Lake Charles, Louisiana, 41-year-old male, Richard Malone.
Richard Malone.
Richard Malone.
On February 11th, in Monroe, Ohio, 35-year-old male, Dustin Booth.
Dustin
Booth.
On February 12th, in Buffalo, New York, 38-year-old male, James Huber.
James Huber.
Also on February 12th, in Lexington, Massachusetts, 35-year-old whose name has not been identified, Ashe. On February 12th, in Dearborn, Michigan, 37-year-old male, Ahmed Taki.
Ahmed Taki.
On February 13th, in Madisonville, Tennessee, 43-year-old male, Terry Edwin Moser.
Terry Edwin
Moser.
On February 13th, in Alvo, Nebraska, 34-year-old male, Andrew Stratton.
Andrew Stratton.
On February 13th, in Concord, North Carolina, the name and age have not been identified, Ashe.
Ashe.
On February 14th, in Oxford, Alabama, 26-year-old Alexander, 26-year-old male, Alexander Cade Lanier. Alexander Cade Lanier.
Alexander Cade Lanier.
Alexander Cade Lanier.
Also on February 14th, in Columbia, Missouri, a 37-year-old male, Blaine D. Johnson.
Blaine D. Johnson.
On February 15th in Harris County, Texas, 43-year-old male Alan Haracha.
Alan Marachi.
Alan Haracha.
On February 15th in Billings, Montana, 39-year-old male with a toy, Raymond D. Dupree.
Raymond D. Dupree.
On February 15th in Lancaster, California, an unidentified woman, Ashe.
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 On February 15th, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 36-year-old male whose name has not been identified. Ashe.
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 In North Middleton, Pennsylvania, on February 16th, 54-year-old male, Roger Wayne Ellis.
Roger Wayne Ellis.
On February 16th, in Azusa, California, a male whose name has not been identified, Ashe.
Ashe.
On February 16th in Plainsboro, New Jersey, a male whose name has not been identified, nor has the age been identified, Ashe.
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 On February 16th in Harris County, Texas, an 18-year-old male, Luis Alberto Rodriguez.
Luis Alberto Rodriguez.
Luis Alberto Rodriguez.
On February 17th, in Mesa, Arizona, 32-year-old male, Ringo Van Winkle.
Rainbow Van Winkle.
Ringo Van Winkle.
In Beaver Dam, Arizona, on February 17th, a 30-year-old male, Oscar Alcantara.
Oscar Alcantara.
And finally, as previously stated by Brian, there was an 18-year-old who was killed in I believe Baltimore this Saturday. He was just 18 years old. His name is Donnell Rochester.
Donnell Rochester.
Justice for all the families. Accountability and justice for all. Mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah, so thank you again, Brian. Thank you again, Marcellus. And my heart just goes out. But it's very devastating and it's very painful. And as you notice that, the police brutality list is off the hinges. It's like ridiculous. Like, did you just hear all those names? And not to even downsize the names that we read in our city, because I'm quite sure if we made the connection to, different cities of the homicides that's in the city and uplift all those victim names, it would be a lot. But let's be crystal clear. The police murders are outrageously high. And that's why they always want to do this community violence thing. At the end of the day, a life is a life. And it's just sad when anybody's life is snatched, whether it's community violence, police brutality, because at the end of the day, you leave family members left struggling with the thought of their loved ones being murdered. That is not an act of God. So again, I just want to thank each and every last one of our panelists tonight, our special guest, Mara. I want to thank Tanika. I want to thank Nicole. I want to thank the West Wannsee people that are watching, that's tuning in. And I also want, if you're watching us on YouTube, all I'm asking you to do is like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. It don't cost you anything. All you got to do is hit the like, subscribe, and share button, and we good. And if you're on Facebook and you want to share this, because this is real. Like, even though you see us and we had our beautiful Nicole to just touch us and intrigue us with a song that really uplift my day, my spirit, my life. Like, her voice is so beautiful, but it's just sad that we're going through what we're going through. You can't make this stuff up. Just keep in mind as we tune on out and you watch the second portion of the video that we started off with, one of the first officers, Ruiz, out of the 17 killers, Ruiz. Just keep that in mind. And Marilyn Mosby hasn't done anything. She left my family stranded and abandoned. Now the time is up. We want answers. We want answers. We demand answers. You know, I know she got her legal stuff going on and all this stuff going on. Guess what? We got stuff going on in our lives. And I was fair, I was transparent, I was understanding, but no, it's no way in the world we're gonna let this go past. You know, it's not. It's unacceptable. Sometimes you got to look at stuff and say, this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable for our community violence to be to the point that nobody's safe. You don't know if you can even make it to the grocery store to pick up some groceries. You're not even, sure that you're gonna return or your loved one's gonna return from the supermarket. We don't know if you're going to be killed by community violence or a killer cop. It's just too much. And it's just sad. And we got to watch out for the people that are not protected. It's not everybody that's getting killed by community violence, but it is everyone affected by it. Because even though it's our Black and brown people that are getting murdered, but still everybody is affected by it. Everybody feels it, because if they wasn't, guess what? We wouldn't have a beautiful West Coalition that stands and supports everyone. And most of the folks that are on the West Coalition have not been impacted directly, besides hearing our pain and caring for us, but none of their loved ones was actually snatched from community violence or police brutality, thank God. But it's just sad. So I'm just asking you to step up, stand with us, like, share, and subscribe, and most importantly, get in contact with Marilyn Mosby office. I know you might not make it through, and all her supporters, like, it's just sad, like, look at what's going on. How dare you leave a family that's been out here? We didn't miss a beat. And to say that I was one of the ones supporting her to get in office because Greg Bernstein laughed in Anthony Anderson's family face and said he wasn't going to do nothing for the killers that killed Anthony Anderson, and even laughed and disrespected my family. And I said, this man got to go. Well, he ain't the only one that got to go. Election time is coming up, and enough is enough. And we're not going past this point. I'm sorry, the gig is up. We demand answers. We demand accountability. That's the least you can do for us. Just like my sister Mara so elegantly said, why do we have to make people see what's wrong and make it right? That makes no sense to me. You see what's wrong. You know what's wrong. Make it right. Stop playing the Doug and Pony show. But I feel like in my brother case, they're not going to give us real accountability, because it's like open up the Pandora's box. So many people going to have to fall. And I started, and I always told you that medical examiner's office is guilty as hell. We protest many times out there. Everybody looked and laughed at my family when it was just originally started as the West family out there. Not the West Coalition, but the West family. His children, his auntie that he called his mom, me. We were out there, boots on the ground, telling them, they lied on my brother's autopsy report. Why do they keep lying? I'm reaching out. I'm advocating for other families and saying, hold up. They saying your loved one that we saw, Antoine Black, beat and choked out in a chokehold on camera. Oh, don't let that ride. Don't let that ride. They did the same thing. This is a replay of Tyrone West. Reached out to George Floyd family when David Fowler got his foul stuff up on and said, oh, he died from everything but a knee to his neck. You get what I'm saying? I went up there and I reached out to that family and I said, oh no, this is a replay of Tyrone. This is what happened in West Family. This same joker wrote on my brother's autopsy report that my brother died of the same thing, a bad heart, not that he was killed. But I can go on and on all night, but I won't. But I will say this on a bright note. Just remember, live to love, love to live. We love you all, and we thank you so much for tuning in, joining in. And we have a special event coming up on March the 9th. I will keep you guys posted. I will definitely keep you guys posted. And I want everybody that I reached out to individually, please join us, support us, because guess what? It can easily be you, and it will be you. Trust and believe me, it will be you if we don't do something now. The time is now. So again, thank you guys. I love you. Tune in for the part 2, and don't just watch it and just go or just cut it off. Do something about it. Think if Marilyn Mosley was playing this game with you or any state prosecutor, justice delayed is justice denied. And the fact that you want to see a portion of this video where when we were in Dwight Pettit's office, right, doing a big news press conference, we were crying, and he was talking about facts that happened to the point where my family, we couldn't take, we were all crying, sobbing, tearing up everything. And one of my uncles, matter of fact, 2 of my loved ones that was actually right there watching in support, standing there with us. My uncle Clifton Anderson is no longer here. He also died, and he didn't die just because he was sick. He didn't get anything wrong with him until his loved one Tyrone West was murdered. He wound up getting a stomach ulcer, which turned cancerous, which ultimately took and all he said was, all I want, and he's the guy that's gonna have the cool brim hat on. He's rubbing my Aunt Diane's back, trying to soothe her. In the corner was my cousin Tavon Anderson, who was murdered on a West Wednesday. On a West Wednesday morning, 12:19 a.m. on January the 20th, literally after I was on the news at 11:30 the night before, leading up to that, talking about Killer Ruiz, what you're about to see. Thank you, guys. We can't stop. We won't stop until killer cops are in cell blocks. Period. Mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah, mic check. Killer cops in cell blocks.
And Mr. West begging for his life. And Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working. and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam, and my sister Dina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.